When you consistently make choices that involve you bending around others and you never make choices that allow you to fulfill your potential, you can miss out on some really awesome things. So for me, I always wanted to make sure everybody around me was really happy and pleased, and we were doing what they were wanting to do. We were doing what made them happy instead of what I wanted to do. And I always did that. I always wanted to make sure that I was doing the right career so that I could bend my life around people in the right town, so I could, you know, bend my life into that town in the right space, doing the right, I guess, belief system, all the right things, so that everyone around me, and it's very outwardly focusing, and this is part of my people pleasing stuff, is like you learn to make your life about other people. And I think it comes naturally to a lot of us, especially if you are raised very traditional as a woman. Your job then would be to bend your life around the man in your life and make sure that everything is good. But the problem with that is that you have to bend your life around the right kinds of people. You have to do that. You have to bend your life around. If you're going to do that, they need to bend their life around you too. You need to be taken into account. Your wants and your desires and your needs are important enough for somebody to bend their life around you as well. And it's an agreement that you have to come to. Instead of being all about another person, it has to be about both of you. And if you can't come to that agreement, it means that there's somebody that's not willing to compromise. And compromise is how we make it through most of our relationships, is through compromise. And so if you are in this people-pleasing position where not only where you make all of your big life decisions around another human being without taking into account what you want, that's not a very healthy place to be. It's a very unhealthy place to be, and it will feel really unhappy and unfulfilling. And that unfulfilling part is the big part, is because you can't put your all into something for that long when it's not fulfilling. There has to be an element of fulfillment there. And so if you're not feeling that, then there's a clue there. For me, the thing that was fulfilling about what I chose to do was the fact that I could work with students. My high school students make my life. Like, they are hilarious. They're very creative. They have funny stories to tell you always. You get to know all of the latest lingo, like rate the fit, and that's probably old now. It's fine. I just didn't know what it meant when they kept saying it to me. And you get to help them get to be better humans. And I think that's so wonderful for me. And so wherever I'm at, that's the fulfilling part, is being able to help other human beings, especially the young population, and especially if they're struggling with their identities and how they view themselves and their self-worth and that kind of stuff. If I can bring an ounce of that to them where they're not feeling like I did when I was in high school, then I feel like I'm doing something to better the world. And so that's where I found my fulfillment. And then I think when you bend your life around, so when you don't make the choice to go do the thing that your heart wants to do because you're waiting on a man or a woman, when you don't go and pursue your dreams because you feel stuck to somebody, I'm going to tell you, the people that love you will let you go and pursue those things. They'll let you go and do those things, and they'll support your dreams and your goals. They won't hold you back from your dreams and your goals. And finding the joy in the little things until you get to that point where you can do that. I mean, I think that's important, but at some point you have to choose to pursue your dreams and your goals and hope that whoever comes with you, they want to come with you. And so for me, a lot of times I want I'm so sentimental about people, all the people in my life, like so sentimental, like in the worst way. And so whenever my kids graduate, oh my God, it's almost painful. It is painful because I will miss them horrifically, and I enjoy getting to know them every year. And that's the hardest part, I think, about being a teacher. But hold on. Sorry. But like being sentimental about people can get in the way sometimes. Not that it gets in the way, it's like you have to learn how to release people, let them go, and if they love you, they'll come back to you. Kind of taking on that as your mantra, because when you love people and you want to go and do something, but you're afraid to do it because you don't want to be doing it by yourself or alone, or you have to leave certain people behind that you care so deeply about. It's hard. It's a hard decision to make, but at some point, and you'll see, look, isn't that fun? My antenna. At some point, you have to understand that your choices and your decisions, you're being called to a situation on purpose. You're being called towards that on purpose. And so the more that you put other things in front of it, you choose other things, the longer it takes for you to get to that point. And for me, I should have gone into marriage and family therapy. I was geared towards it. That's what I am best at. But I chose to let that go because I was trying to make everyone around me happy. And now that I am 20 years later, well, 15 years later, here I am, and I'm wanting to go back into it, to finish it. And so that is, and to do counseling and to do therapy and to do this kind of work, because this is the work that I've been called to do, and I've always been called to do it. This healing, emotional healing. And so instead of chasing the other people in my life, I should have been putting that first, because that's my calling, instead of putting other people in front of it. Because you can do that. You can choose to do that. But eventually you're going to have to come back around to it. And so if you are waiting on other people to help you get from point A to point B, it might take forever, because you're the one who has to make that choice. And this is where your people-pleasing, your codependency stuff comes in. You have to be able to release the need for another in order to make your dreams come true. It's nice to have another. And I talk about this because, and it sounds like I want to be all alone, and I don't. That's not what I mean. I mean that you don't have to have somebody hold your hand while you do the things that you're supposed to do. Because that'll get in the way. It gets in the way of what you need to pursue. It gets in the way of what you need to accomplish. And everybody needs to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, regardless of if you're in a relationship or not. Because that's how it works. Because at some point you have to live kind of independently of each other. Because if you become completely enmeshed, it becomes so unhealthy for both partners, both parties involved. You stop living because you're so anxious about the other person. And instead you should be living and supporting, but living in a way that's healthy for both of you. With compromise. Compromise is a necessity. If you can't compromise on things, you don't need to be in a relationship. Period. But make sure you're making yourself important in that relationship too. Make sure your calling, your wants, your desires, your needs are being met and being appreciated and being talked about and being looked at, and people are taking action on them. Even if it's just you're taking action on it, and you're not allowing somebody else to stand in the way. And that's how we take care of ourselves. That's how we become better at being just us and being happy with whoever it is that we are. But anyway, sending love to you all. I am going to go and organize. Talk to you later. Bye.